Well, there have been airstrikes over the last day or two. They did it immediately on Saturday night and then a little bit more yesterday. The Prime Minister returned early from his visit to the United States and held a 4-hour meeting with security officials. And they basically said they're going to do it in their time and place of choosing. So it's a little unclear. I think that they want to send a strong message and not start a war. And, threading that needle is always complicated.
We have seen some reaction on markets to this as well, the stock market dropping notably on Sunday.
Yes.
How serious is the risk of escalation? And I suppose how is that being perceived in the region?
Well, I think you're right that the markets are worried, and it's an important indicator of something. I would say that as soon as the 12 young people were killed and everyone understood what a terrible tragedy it was, the concern that Israel would go to war pretty quickly was high. I think it's receding a bit now, and we'll see if the markets get that and respond today. Because the difficulty is, although the overwhelming nature of the commentary in Israel is let's do it smart and carefully, and let's not start another war. But you can't always determine whether a war results from what you do. Um, so they're trying to figure it out. I mean, the likeliest, it seems to me, is either going after Hezbollah leaders or going after Hezbollah military targets. I don't think they're going to go after Lebanese infrastructure, but that is a possibility.
Mm. Meanwhile, there are talks continuing over a ceasefire in Gaza. That's based on the proposal which was made public at the end of May. Are there
Correct.
any signs of progress there?
Well, there are signs of progress to the extent that David Barnea, the head of the Mossad spy agency, went to Rome yesterday, held a series of meetings, and then came back and briefed the prime minister here yesterday. And the prime minister announced that talks were ongoing. So that's a lot better than nothing's happening. So I think there's, as the Americans said last week, it's looking close, a very difficult set of negotiations, but they are happening.
Meanwhile, we've heard this ramping up of rhetoric from Turkey as well against Israel. How significant is that?
I think it's significant only in the sense that it shows what a bad mood the region is in about Israel. But I don't think that Turkey is going to get involved militarily in this encounter. That would be very surprising to me. But, not that long ago, Israel and Turkey were on the mend. And obviously, everything that's happened since October 7th has isolated Israel regionally in many ways. The Gulf a little less so, at least privately, more publicly. But in that sense, it's meaningful. But I don't think it's going to have actual on the ground
Mm.
significance.
What is your reading of the strength now of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who, of course, made that address to the joint houses of Congress last week? I mean, a conflict with Lebanon, with Hezbollah in Lebanon, is a much more significant issue for the whole region. What's your assessment of Netanyahu currently?
I don't think I think he's gained a little bit of strength in recent weeks, to be honest. I think his address in Washington was well received here. I think that there is a strong feeling among parts of the Israeli public that a war with Hezbollah is inevitable and that Israel needs to, quote unquote, show its strength. So I don't know that that is going to affect him. He remains strongly in office with the 64 member majority and the 120 member Knesset. I don't see any risk to his political future in the coming 3 to 6 months.
Ethan, we've been reporting too on the progress in the US presidential campaign, and I wonder how much is that playing into the politics in Israel at the moment? How is the emergence of Kamala Harris being perceived in Israel?
I think that the Israelis generally think that if Donald Trump wins, that he will be more supportive of their needs. They consider Kamala Harris to be a little, leaning a little too hard from their perspective in the direction of Arab Americans, Muslim Americans, young liberal Democrats who are more concerned with the suffering of Palestinians than with Israel's strategic needs. So there's some concern. I don't think that they feel that it's a nightmare, but I would say the polls show a preference for Trump, one of the few countries in the world where that's true.